Do you love watermelon as much as I do? Because it is, for me, one of the ultimate summer staples. But if you want to get a little creative with it, why not make my watermelon bruschetta with whipped feta and pickled watermelon rind? Now, let's get saucy. Okay, foodie friends, so let's jump right into this amazing recipe. So I have some watermelon and some pickled watermelon rind that I just went ahead and diced up kind of finely. And I trimmed up the watermelon so that I got really nice kind of even dices. And I did the watermelon rind so that it was a little bit smaller than the watermelon pieces. So we are just going to chop those up nice, like I said, and add them into this bowl. So you could do this a day ahead of time. And if you did, what I would say is just make sure you drain any excess liquid, because this watermelon, of course, if it sits in the fridge, it's going to release out a lot of liquid, and we don't want too much liquid in there. Same with the pickled watermelon rind. I have, give or take, about, I would say, a cup of each of these. So just in there, in our bowl. And then to that, I have some beautiful fresh basil that I just did a quick chiffonade on. So I just took my nice big leaves of basil, stacked them up, rolled them up into like a cigar, and then sliced those across really nicely. So we're just gonna give this a nice mix and get everything well incorporated. Look how beautiful that is. All those nice colors in there, that beautiful pink watermelon, the white from the rind, and the beautiful green basil. All right, so now we're going to set this aside. Okay, so, and then what I have here is my whipped feta. So how I did this, all right, so I took about 4 ounces of feta cheese. I threw that into my food processor and I pulsed that up to get it crumbled down a little bit. And then to that, I added the zest and juice of 1 lime, and then put the lid back on and started the food processor pureeing that, and drizzled in a little bit of olive oil just to create a nice kind of creamy consistency. So then we'll take that off and we'll give it a taste. I want to add a little bit of pepper to this just to give it a little background. It doesn't need any salt because that feta is nice and salty. And we're also going to add a little bit of heavy cream to that. And then we'll pulse this up again and puree it into a nice, beautiful kind of spreadable consistency. So you can see that here I have this amazing whipped feta, and we'll give that a little bit of a taste. Oh, wow, that's delicious. So you could, again, just like the watermelon and the watermelon rind, you could do this a day ahead of time, leave it sit in the fridge. The only thing is, I would say take that out a few minutes before you're ready to plate this up, and give it a good stir, and let it, come to temperature a little bit, because it will thicken up and harden up a little bit with the cream and the cheese in there, right? So the first thing I did was I sliced up some bread, and I used a nice French loaf. You could use a baguette for this, or an Italian loaf. I used kind of a softer French loaf for this. And so I brushed each side with olive oil and put it on a baking sheet on a rack. And then I seasoned the top side with some salt and fresh cracked pepper. And then I popped it in the oven at 400 degrees. I let it go for about 20 to 25 minutes. I flipped it halfway through. You want it to have a nice golden crunch on the outside. It's got a little bit of give to the center of it still, so it's going to crunch when you bite into it, but still be a little bit kind of soft in the center. All right, but you do whatever you want. You could toast it up in a pan. You could put it on a grill, however you want to do that. All right, so now let's build our beautiful bruschetta. So we'll take one of our pieces of toast here, and a good dollop of our whipped feta. And I'm just gonna spread that out, make a kind of a little well in the center. And to that, we'll add a good, bring this up here, we'll add a good spoonful of our watermelon and pickled watermelon rind mixture with that fresh basil in there. And then over here, I have a little bit more feta that I just crumbled up, and I'll just add a few little pieces of that crumbled feta right to the top of that. So we'll just finish building the rest of those, and then I'm gonna finish them with some beautiful olive oil and some aged balsamic vinegar. All right, so last one here. Spread that on. Add on our watermelon mixture. And a little bit of the feta, like I said. So you're gonna get 2 bursts of that feta in that whipped feta, and the little bite of the crumbles of feta on top is gonna be absolutely amazing. All right, so we're at this point now, and like I said, I'm gonna drizzle these with just a little scotch of olive oil. It's gonna give a little, that olive oil fruitiness. Just pick up some extra flavor in there. You're not gonna, it's not gonna be like, oh my God, olive oil, but it's just gonna hint to that. And then I have this beautiful aged balsamic vinegar here. So you could, if you wanted to get an aged balsamic, definitely do that. This is a 25-year-old, well, actually, it was a 25-year-old aged balsamic in 2019, so it's like 30 years now. But you could do a balsamic glaze. They sell that in pretty much every supermarket everywhere now. Or you could just take some balsamic vinegar and reduce it down on the stove to get a kind of syrupy consistency. That's gonna thicken it up. It's gonna bring out all the sugars and make it just a little sweet and tangy. So I'm just gonna drizzle a tiny bit of this on each one as well, just to give that little extra tang and bit of kind of raisiny sweetness. That's the thing, this aged balsamic, made from grapes. So it's gonna have like a little bit of a raisiny kind of sweetness to it because it's aged 25 years, like I said. A little touch more on this one. Oh, that vinegar on its own is delicious. So, there we go. My watermelon bruschetta with some pickled watermelon rind, whipped feta, and aged balsamic. Let's give it a taste. Oh my God. I hope you heard that crunch from the bread in my microphone. Like I said, the outside has a crunch. It's got a little bit of that softness in the center. Sorry. The crunch and tang of that pickled watermelon rind and the sweetness of the watermelon and that aged balsamic. The tangy feta, the fresh basil. It's just creates a symphony of flavors in your mouth that so amazing. This will make an amazing appetizer. If you wanted to throw a little bit of prosciutto in there, make it like a light main course. What I've got 5 pieces here, right? So make it like a light main course for 2 people, or a delicious appetizer just like this. So listen, guys, as always, thank you so much for joining me here on Getting Saucy with Chef Lynn. Check the description box below for a link to the full written recipe. You can follow me across all social media at Chef Lynn Wheeler. And like I said, thanks again. I'll see you next time. So good.